Hey, how's it going, guys? Jack and Matt here with the Toasty Bros, and today we're going to be testing the top, not one, not two, but three graphics cards under $50.
For those who are on a tight budget, this is the perfect video for you. But before we get into testing these graphics cards, let's hear a word from today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by GVGMall, an online marketplace to gain access to some really awesome discounted game keys, and more specifically, Windows 10 licenses.
And if you're interested, use the link down below and buy the Windows 10 Pro activation using our code TB20 to get 20% off.
All you have to do to activate Windows 10 license is buy the key by using code TB20 and then throw the Windows 10 key into your Windows 10 activation on the system you wish to install it in, and boom, you have activated Windows 10 and you no longer have to look at that horrible watermark in the bottom right corner.
So thanks again to GVGMall for sponsoring this video.
Let's get right into the video, shall we? Alright guys, so you all said loud and clear via a poll we did on YouTube that you wanted to see a video where we tested some of the top graphics cards under X price point, so expect other videos like this in the future if this one does well. But we're going to be checking out three graphics cards right here, so I'm going to go ahead and grab these if I can reach it.
That knock him over.
I might not knock him over. So these three graphics cards were bought on eBay, and we're going to go through each individual one, talk about what they're made of, and then be testing it in this PC, which Jackson will tell you a little bit more about.
So for the system that we're testing with it, we wanted to make sure that there was no bottlenecks, well, at least with the CPU. So we have a 3600, Ryzen 3600 that is, and 16 gigs of RAM. So there's gonna be nothing holding these graphics cards back.
So how about we go ahead and talk about each card and exactly how much we paid for it, and then just dive into some testing, shall we?
All right, so the first card that we have running up is a $43 card. This is an RX 460. This is actually a generic like HP card that would have came in an OEM pre-built system, so nothing fancy as far as shrouds go, but you know, we got a little heat sink and a really cute fan on there, but 460 is a really good value. This is actually the cheapest one that we got, but the 460, honestly, we've used them in recent builds and they still work. I mean, they're still a graphics card, so don't expect, you know, insane performance levels, but for under $50, this is a really good deal. So like all the other graphics cards, this card has 2 gigs of VRAM, and just to go over the ports real quick in case it's important for some of you guys, we have one display port, one HDMI, and one DVI. So you could have up to 3 monitors, assuming that you're not gonna get an active splitter, and of course you have 2 really good ports right here, having HDMI and DisplayPort.
Now our next most expensive graphics card is this R9 270. Now this one has a special place in my heart, not the specific one, but this was a card that I had in one of my first systems that I upgraded, and it's a really capable card. This thing does come with only 2 gigs of VRAM, and it is using a blower style design. It does require more power, hence the extra power connector compared to the other cards that we have right here, but this thing should perform pretty well at 1080p low settings. In terms of the display out, we actually have 2 DVIs that shows the time of this card coming out, and we have a DisplayPort and HDMI. So you get an extra connector if for some reason you want an extra output for a multi-monitor setup, but if you're on a budget, you're probably not working with that. This will probably be good enough though for most esports titles, and we're gonna throw it at it and when we actually get to testing. And this is the most expensive card that we bought, and probably one of the most popular cards that people think of when they're buying a cheap graphics card. This is a 750 Ti, more specifically one from EVGA. We paid exactly $50 for this. Now keep in mind, all these cards that we bought on eBay, we had to do a little bit of hunting to get it. So don't go on eBay expecting to find these for exactly this price point. You might have to pay a little bit more, you could probably pay a little bit less, but mainly this is a guide for how much you should pay for a card like this. 750 Ti is a legendary card and still recommended in a lot of budget builds, more than enough for 1080p low settings on some newer games and maybe medium settings for esports titles, but we will only really know exactly how well this thing performs in 2020 when we slap it in this PC over here and see what kind of performance we can get. So how about we go ahead and test the cheapest one first, this little guy right here, and then work our way up to the most expensive and see exactly how these graphics cards perform in 2020. Alright guys, there is the 460 installed. One thing to know about the 460 is it does not require any external power, so you know, this looks kind of weird in this like really high-end system, but I mean, we're gonna go ahead and test this thing in a couple titles. We're gonna do Rainbow Six Siege to test all the games in terms of esports performance with the built-in benchmark. We're gonna be running the built-in benchmark in Shadow of the Tomb Raider to do the worst case scenario in AAA titles, and then we're gonna dive into FORTNITE on a multiplayer match and just see exactly kind of average numbers we get. It's not gonna be as scientific as the other 2 benchmarks, but we're gonna get an idea of how FORTNITE runs because, well, I know you all care about that sort of thing. So let's go ahead and test this. All right, guys, now we have the RX 460 installed, and we're gonna be testing Rainbow Six Siege. Now we're gonna run the built-in benchmark on the high preset because that doesn't seem to max out totally the VRAM on this graphics card, so it's gonna give the best chance for these cards to perform decently. So we're gonna run the built-in benchmark and see exactly how this performs. Now keep in mind, Rainbow Six Siege is kind of like our game to test how this card will work in esports titles because relatively you're gonna get similar results across the board. And honestly, this ain't half bad. Now, 100% there is a GPU bottleneck here, 100% load on the GPU right now, but we're getting 60 FPS. We just barely dip below 60 to about, well, now we're dropping a little bit lower in here, but it looks like the settings are not too bad, especially if you want to run it like 1080p low medium settings. You can definitely get a constant 60 FPS, but I mean, this is pretty solid. In some areas, we're getting well over 60, 70, 80-ish FPS. We'll let this round out real quick and see what the averages are, but I mean, it's not too bad. All right, guys, so it looks like we got an average of a 76 FPS, a minimum of 40, and a maximum of 106. Not too shabby. So let's go ahead and test the other games real quick. All right, guys, the next game we're gonna be testing is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We're gonna be running this on low settings because this is gonna be a very demanding game for all of these graphics cards. I want to give it the best possible chance. So we're gonna go ahead and run this benchmark. This one is really long, so we're just gonna time lapse through this, kind of cut through it. But yeah, we're gonna see exactly how this thing performs. All right, guys, so as you can tell, the average FPS was 45, which is not too bad for low settings. Again, this is the worst case scenario for a graphics card like this, so you could run this on like 1600 by 900 and get better results, but overall, not too shabby. The last thing we're gonna be testing with this graphics card is FORTNITE. We're gonna try to dive into the same location each time to get somewhat of a controlled experiment, but it's not gonna be perfect. We're just gonna try to see exactly what kind of frame rate we get as we play in the game. Not gonna be as scientific as I mentioned before, but we're gonna give it a shot because you all like FORTNITE, so let's do that. All right, guys, in FORTNITE, real quick, we are running on pro settings, everything on low, but view distance on epic. So these are the settings we are running with right now. So we're gonna hit apply on that and dive into a team rumble and try to stay consistent with the drop that we go to, just to keep the variables kind of limited. So let's see what kind of results we can get. All right, guys, we are diving into agency. That seems to be the most consistent place we can go right now. And the frame rate is not too bad. You do see some like rubber banding affecting. We are having some internet issues right now, so I apologize for that. But we're gonna dive into agency and see what kind of frame rate we get. Right now, dropping in, we're at well over 100, which is pretty solid. I mean, for pro settings, having over 100 FPS, right around 90, give or take, is more than playable for FORTNITE. We're just gonna run around for a little bit, see what kind of results we can get, and then from here, we will transition to the other graphics cards. But yeah, now we've settled in, we're like well over 100 FPS, which is pretty impressive, and the GPU is getting maxed out, so that is definitely a good sign overall. So it's not like the CPU is carrying the work or anything. Well, we had one stutter right there. This would be one case where you might want to lock the frame rate to, let's say, 60 or like 100, depending on what kind of frame refresh rate you're using on your monitor. But I mean, overall, it's pretty playable. Oh, I see someone. Hello. Nice. What smooth moves. All right, I mean, FORTNITE is definitely playable. I mean, I have no problems playing on this graphics card, especially if you paired it with a budget CPU. This would be a good little budget FORTNITE PC. You can do it for like, honestly, around 200 bucks and get very similar results regardless of the CPU we're using right now. So overall, very impressed with this setup. How about we go ahead and try the R9 270 and see if this card has any more to offer than this little RX 460. All right, guys, we are installing the R9 270.
Maybe if I can find the slot.
And there it is. Huzzah.
Let's see if it reaches.
We are now testing out the R9 270. We are back into Rainbow Six, and we're on high settings, of course, somewhere in here. Here we go. We're gonna go ahead and run the built-in benchmark and see what we get. Why did I lose it? Boom. We're seeing pretty similar results to what we had with the RX 460, which of course you probably should see since these cards are very similarly priced. On eBay, it really wouldn't make sense that one's majorly better than the other, which is probably what you'll see with most of these tests that we do, besides maybe the 750 Ti could be a little bit better than both of them, because overall that one should have a little bit better performance. Since it's a little bit more expensive, that should be what you see. But honestly though, I mean, the game's fully playable. We saw pretty much above 60 FPS the whole game, so on high settings it's pretty impressive, and you could drop them down to get even better results. But we saw a minimum of 46.5, average of 73, and a max of 99 FPS. Let's go to the next game. Okay guys, we are now testing out Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We're back on low settings. This is the 270 once again. Let's go ahead and run the benchmark. It's gonna be a long one, so let's go ahead and go time-lapse mode. Okay, so on the 270, we saw an average of 40 FPS this time, so we did lose an average of about 3 FPS over the 460, which honestly was to be expected a little bit. This card, although it is a little bit more beefier and I guess better looking, it is a little bit of an older card, so because of that, you're gonna see a better looking card, but you're not gonna see better looking performance. And because of that, so far, we're kind of recommending the 460, especially the fact that you don't have to have external power, and it's overall a smaller card, and it probably uses a lot less power too, so overall, it's just been a better card so far. Now we're gonna test FORTNITE. FORTNITE! Guess what? It's FORTNITE. We're on the same all pro settings. Once again with the 270, we're doing some team rumble. We'll try to land in the same spot. Hopefully our little bus, plane, train thingy's in the same place and we can land there. All right, let's see if we can land in the same spot here. See if I remember how to land. Is it E to space to jump? Space to jump.
Yeah, it's space.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna go to the agency.
Sadly, I'm not going to land on the roof again, but yeah, I mean, right now we're seeing almost 100 FPS, and oh, I did it. I don't think I hear footsteps. Oh, there's the other chest. I'm gonna grab this other chest, then I'm gonna go.
Go on the hunt.
So as you guys can tell, I mean, we're over 100 FPS constant. I mean, honestly, you could even raise the settings if you really wanted to, but obviously you probably wouldn't have a 3600 in the system, so you'd probably be working with something a little bit lower end, so maybe you'd see a little bit less FPS, but with this though, at least, we are seeing plenty, and this budget card is really not slacking at all. But let's see if we can finally kill someone before we stop the game. Should I be able to hit these people normally?
Yeah, you should be able to. Oh no.
Don't worry, dude, this is easy.
5, oh god.
Oh, he killed my teammate.
Get the banana. Oh!
My teammate killed him, kind of heated.
Huzzah.
What's happening?
All the building. Oh.
All right, guys, that was FORTNITE, and you know how FORTNITE goes.
Let's test another graphics card. Here it is.
We're doing it. The 750 Ti, the legendary, the myth, the man, the legend. Like, okay.
I'm having the same issues.
It's hard to, that little slot's like hard to find.
There it is. Ready? Watch this. Boom. Secure. Watch this. Here we go. Almost there. Okay. Why did I use this one? This one doesn't have enough length. Ready, set, go, boom, power on. Wait, flip the switch. Let's go.
FORTNITE, here we go.
Woo!
FORTNITE.
Woo! All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be testing the 750 Ti. The last card we're going to be testing, we're trying Team EVGA here. Same high settings, Rainbow Six Siege. Let's run that benchmark. Ideally, this might be close to the same results that we got with the other cards, but I mean, this was the most expensive one, so hopefully it's a little bit higher, but I mean, Honestly, it looks about the same, maybe a little bit worse. We'll let the benchmark totally run through and then we'll actually compare the numbers. But overall, I've seen like kind of a common trend here where like all these cards are about the same. So it's a matter of like finding the best deal on which one you're looking for. If you're doing a low wattage build, maybe the 460 makes the most sense. And it's just a matter of finding the best deal. We'll let this finish out though, but the GPU is definitely maxing out at 100%, and it's performing pretty well. Temperatures are staying pretty nice at around 70 to 71 degrees Celsius. This card was a little bit dirty when it showed up, and we did clean it out, so it might need a little bit of extra love, some new thermal paste, which is definitely something you should do with your new graphics cards if you do get them. But let's see what the final results are. Looks like we had a lower average, an average of 68, a max of 87, and a minimum of 43.3. That was kind of disappointing for the most expensive card. So let's go ahead and test two other games real quick. All right, guys. Now, okay. What's up, lads? Okay. What's up, lads? We're gonna be testing Shadow of the Tomb Raider. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we're gonna be testing Shadow of the Tomb Raider on this 750 Ti. Again, worst case scenario on low settings, and this benchmark is really long. So we're going to go run around in a circle a few times and then just see how this benchmark ends. Woohoo! All right, guys, so now the benchmark is done. It looks like we have an average of about 35 FPS, which is definitely lower than all the other graphics cards we've tested. So
I take back what I said.
He takes it back.
I lied.
No takes
that was before research.
No take backs. But 35, yeah, not too hot for the most expensive graphics card. So let's dive into Fortnite real quick, get a little bit of gameplay footage there, and then we'll wrap this video up. All right, guys, we are in Fortnite. See, I went right through it that time. I didn't let him bother me. We're going to dive into Fortnite on pro settings once again, and we're going to go to the agency and just see what kind of performance we can get.
In the menu, we're seeing 505 FPS.
More than playable, would recommend. All right, guys, let's go to the agency, and we'll see what kind of frame rate we're getting. I mean, I'm expecting basically this trend we've seen throughout all these benchmarks. This is going to be a little bit less than the rest of the cards. We did experience a lot more stuttering at the start of the game, but we'll see how it is when we actually land here. But I mean, it's still going to be a good card, but I would most definitely not pay more than an RX 460 if you can get an RX 460. I would most certainly not pay more than the R9 270 or the RX 460 because, well, obviously this is not performing as well as those cards. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's get a gun.
Someone laying on the roof right above you. Oh,
oh,
that's
hello.
a good guy. I did not like that giant cat body.
Meow. Meow. So as you can tell, the frame rate is pretty solid across the board. Really cannot complain. We're gonna try to find somebody to kill, but I mean, if it's anything like the last time, it's gonna take like 20 years to find somebody. So we're gonna just climb and climb and climb and potentially find somebody. Hello? Anyone out there? You don't know what's coming to him. Oh, that was a major lag spike. We noticed that with the other one as well. Which is guy might get killed before I can even get to him. Ooh, blasted, dude. That's what happens. But hey, I mean, stay at above 100 FPS. So, I mean, this card is not bad by any means for Fortnite, but I would definitely look at the other options if you want a more stable experience. But again, these cards are all around $50. So I can definitely expect that you could find this card probably less than that, maybe around 40 bucks on other used markets, and still get very favorable results. But anyways, guys, that was Fortnite. More than playable as we're getting dropped in on by Batman. Oh God. Okay, killed Batman. That's good. But yeah, Fortnite, more than playable to set up. Not nearly as good as the RX 460 or R9 270, but I mean, nonetheless, still a pretty solid overall use case. How about we go ahead and wrap this video up real quick? What is this game? Fortnite!
As a creator, creating content is almost second nature. Once the idea hits my mind, I almost go into autopilot, doing scripting, recording, and editing until it's complete. However, getting it seen on the crowded space that is YouTube is a whole other challenge. With TubeBuddy though, you get access to a wide range of tools like tag optimizers and search ranking results to help you optimize your content to succeed on YouTube. Want to give it a shot? Click the link down below to learn more.
Alright guys, so as you can tell, these graphics cards did pretty well for the price. Considering that they are below $50, I was not super disappointed with any card. The 750 Ti was a little bit disappointing though.
The 750 Ti, I should have done a little bit more research before I said that it might be better, but the 750 Ti actually is an older card, and although it's a Ti card and it's kind of a legendary card for its time, the RX 460 and the 270 both actually passed it up just a little bit, not anything insane, to the point that if the 750 Ti was like 10 bucks cheaper, I would still just say go with the 750 Ti if you're on like a super tight budget, but if you can spend a little bit of extra money, you might as well go with one of these two guys here.
And if for some reason you're stuck deciding between these graphics cards or some other graphics cards, be sure to head over to our Twitch stream at some point, twitch.tv/ToastyBros. We stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. We'll answer your tech questions with some help, you know, sometimes.
Or gaming.
Or gaming, or graphics cards falling over. You know, that happens. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do want to buy any of the graphics cards mentioned in this video, links in the description down below. Those are affiliate links that do help us out. They pay our bills. We make sure we don't have to get rid of people around here, you know, nice things. But thank you guys again for watching.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
We will see you guys maybe in the next one.
Don't add that in.
Yeah,
I mean, you could. No, don't add that in.
Just like
add a bleep over it.
Yeah, bleep over that.